A superb panoramic view of Table Mountain, putting on its best early summer face for the locals and the thousands of tourists who flock each year to one of the world's most beautiful cities. Things have changed a little since Jan van Riebeck's day, with Cape Town's popular Victoria and Alfred waterfront development a sign of the times. One of South Africa's major tourist attractions, the waterfront blends the old with the new and provided a vibrant venue for the start of the Agip Rally, the penultimate round of the Stanek National Rally Championship. Not even Cape Town's laid-back atmosphere could mask growing tension among the South African rally fraternity, with this year's championship heading for a nail-biting finish. Taking into account that crews have to drop one result from final tallies, an effective 6 points separated reigning South African champions Jan Habak and Douglas Judd and Serge Damso and Vito Bonafide at the top of the championship table.
Jan, second last rally of the season, everything to go for?
Yeah, I think we must try and maximize our points. And I think on this event we're going to put our head down and just go.
From day one right through?
I think that's the best plan for now.
Good luck.
An early declaration of intent from Habak and Judd in the VW camp on an Agip rally that was certain to turn into a war of attrition. Damso and Bonafide in the factory Castrol Toyota Conquest were on home ground, and while they were not factors in the championship battle, 11-time South African champions Sarel van der Merwe and Martin Botha in the Daewoo Lanos were in a position to upset either the Volkswagen or Toyota apple carts. Habak and Judd drew the number 3 slot on the road, with Stanek Fleet Management Rally winners Paulo Piazzamuso and Nick Haddon also in a position to upset calculations, with the pair looking for back-to-back wins in their Sasol Ford Escort. 6 special stages were on the agenda for day 1, with 4 of them spectator-oriented affairs at the waterfront, the Killarney Racetrack and the Milnerton Turf Club. Special stages in the heart of cities and major metropolitan areas have become part and parcel of the Stanek National Rally Championship drive to take rallying to the people. The opening shots on the Agip Rally were fired at the waterfront, with plenty of pressure for the Castrol Toyota factory crew of Serge Damso and Vito Bonafide.
You guys always get asked us about your home rallies. It doesn't really make that much difference, does it?
It doesn't really make any difference at the moment. You know, every year they use more or less the same area, and this event I got pace notes, so I don't think there's any home advantage. And I must say the organisers put a great event together. The start in the event, I don't think you could have asked a better place. I mean, the people around, I think it was fantastic.
Superstar Sarel van der Merwe and Martin Botha were making only their 2nd appearance of the season in the little Daewoo Lanos, with the pair likely to run interference in the Volkswagen-Toyota Championship battle.
This has always been a very fast rally, and the roads are normally good. But once again, it's a Serge rally. You know, he's very, very fast on this event, and it's going to be very interesting to watch him and Habak having a go at each other for the championship.
With a little bit of running interference from Sarel.
Maybe we can upset them here and there.
The opening waterfront special stage drew large crowds at what is a natural amphitheatre. It was a short and sharp affair and gave an early indication that the Agip Rally was going to be run at a furious pace. Habak and Judd in the Works VW Golf kit car made their intentions known before the start, but it was unnecessary. A bold and aggressive approach is a Habak trademark, and no one expected anything other than attack from him. A win on the Stanek Fleet Management Rally came just at the right time for Paulo Piazzamuso and Nick Haddon in the Sasol Ford Escort. With 4 manufacturers fighting it out in the Premier Class A8, there wasn't going to be any holding back from any of the crews involved at the coalface of South African rallying. In a straight line, the Sasol Ford Escort is probably the quickest of the kit cars currently competing in South African rallying, with Piazzamuso and Haddon looking in good early form. Local crew Enzo Kuhn and Guy Hodgson were out in the 2nd factory Daewoo Lanos and fresh from a 3rd place first time out on the Stanek Fleet Management Rally. Now a Daewoo dealer in the Western Cape, the talented Kuhn grew up in Pretoria and was hoping for another good run in the tough little Lanos. Also hoping for a good run after a miserable sequence of non-finishes were Italians Etienne Lawrence and Robert Paisley. They ran into an engine problem before the start, and after hasty repairs started out a little gingerly in the Team Total Toyota Conquest. Only 4 seconds separated the top Class A8 crews on the waterfront special stage, with next stop on the Agip Rally, the Killarney Race Circuit. Class A7 champions Chad van der Walt and Cindy Harding took an early lead in the category in the 711 VW Golf and were looking to score their 6th class win in 7 outings this season. Behind them, Hergen Fecken and Dave Lukowitz had the opportunity of wrapping up the Class A6 championship, with the Pretoria crew making a somewhat subdued start in the Dunare Toyota Conquest. In the Group N category for standard saloon cars, Hannes Grobler and Dave McGregor were firm pre-event favourites in the Vodacom Bridgestone Nissan Sentra, but went into the event trailing Italians Cliff Blackman and Johan Klaassen by a single point. KwaZulu-Natal pair, Tony Ball and Alec Harris, were running at the back of the Class A8 field in the privately entered Bulwer Park VW Golf and going along nicely in the early stages. With a helicopter at their disposal, cameramen were able to indulge themselves with some out-of-the-ordinary footage of the Willem Loh Johan Barnard VW Golf, and they were enjoying themselves. Down at ground level, it was tougher going, with a good Group N fight developing between championship contenders in classes N3 and N2. Cape crew, Diffie Moreira and Danny Duval in the Toyota Corolla, Cliff Blackman and Johan Klaassen in the Nissan Sentra, and Dean Saunders and Graham Hooper in a Toyota Conquest were the main antagonists in the battle developing behind the Grobler-McGregor Nissan Sentra. At the front of the field, there were still only seconds between the front runners, with the Piazza Muso Hatton Sasol Ford Escort in the thick of the fight.
Well, coming off that great win, how's your feelings for this event?
Well, certainly our morales are and the spirit is very high in the team. But I treat the event one at a time. So we're settling in this event and starting to find form, especially with the new notes. We'll see how it goes later today.
The first of the more traditional special stages on the Agip Rally took crews to the Spesbona area, just outside Durbanville. The pace among the Class A8 cars at the front of the field was still hectic, with crews looking to try and establish an early advantage. Teamwork is an essential part of success in rallying, with the long-standing partnership of six-time South African champions, Serge Damso and Vito Bonafide, hard at work in a small and very noisy office in the Castrol Toyota Conquest. Damso and Bonafide have built up a superb understanding over the years and came up with a special stage time that was 6 seconds faster than any of the other top runners could manage. Even then, it wasn't good enough to stop a fired-up Yanni Habak and Douglas Judd from posting a time that was 7 seconds quicker than the Castrol Toyota crew. Habak had promised that he'd be going flat out. He fulfilled that on virtually every inch of terrain from the word go. While the blistering early pace continued, Special Stage 3 claimed the first of the big guns on the Agip Rally. Stanek Fleet Management Rally winners Paolo Piazzamuso and Nick Haddon were steaming along in the Sasol Ford Escort when they clipped a bank, with race cam action telling the rest of the story. Problems for Piazzamuso and Haddon. Enzo Kuhn, running behind the Sasol Ford Escort on the road, was also not the happiest man in the Western Cape. But it's early days for the Daewoo Lanos team and only their second event of the season.
I would have liked it to be going a bit better. We found a problem with the engine 2 days ago on the dyno down here, and we can't rectify it right now. So we're going to run the car as is, and we're about 15% down on power, which means we'll be probably a second okay off the pace.
Despite Kuhn's fears, the second Daewoo Lanos was still running strongly, as was the team total Toyota Conquest of Lawrence and Paisley, and it was Piazzamuso and Haddon who were in trouble.
The problem. We broke the steering arm. We touched that bank over there, and it broke the steering arm.
While Piazzamuso and Haddon were stranded with their rally over, local crew Jean-Pierre Damso and Pierre Aris were pushing hard in the team total Toyota Conquest, but Special Stage 3 drama was far from over. Diffie Moreira and Donny Duval came unstuck at a tricky S-bend, with the Tony's Breakdown Services Toyota Corolla slowly toppling onto its side. The car was soon back on its wheels, with Duval warning the approaching Willem Loh and Johan Barnard to exercise a little caution. Once Loh and Barnard were safely past, Moreira and Duval got underway again, and then along came Craig Trott and Johan Seeling in the team total Toyota Conquest. Solid contact with the bank caused enough damage to put the team total Toyota Conquest crew out of action for the rest of the rally. While up at the next service area, technical crew were getting the Moreira-Duval Toyota ready for more action.
Diffie, ietsie gebeur?
Ja, nee, ons het 'n bietjie hard gedruk dink ek, en toe die S-band my uitgevang, ons het net binnekant net gevang en toe klip die kar en toe rol hy. So is nou maar 'n bietjie bad luck, maar hopelik gaan dit voort.
2 more members, if they weren't already part of the fold, for the Roly-Poly Club. Being first on the road has its advantages and disadvantages. In this case, it was a disadvantage for Serge Damso and Vito Bonafide. Scything a path through wheat fields was clogging up air ducts and radiators, with the Castrol Toyota already starting to suffer from overheating problems. For those behind Damso and Bonafide, it was plain sailing, and Class A7 champions Chart van der Walt and Cindy Harding were going along steadily in the 711 VW Golf. Consistency is the cornerstone of the Van der Walt-Harding success story over the years, with the pair runners-up in the South African Rally Championship 3 times in the last 5 years. Going into the Agip Rally, they still had an outside chance of winning this year's championship, and took into the event a 100% finish record this season. Steaming along behind them were another crew with an outside chance of winning the overall championship, but first priority for Jürgen Fecken and Dave Lukowitz was to wrap up the Class A6 title. The Donaire Toyota Conquest crew started off cautiously and were running neck and neck with the Team Total Toyota Conquest of Cape pair Jean-Pierre Damso, son of Serge, and Pierre Aris. In the young Damso, rally experts see a possible champion of the future, who was a chip off the old block. At the front of the Group N category, the experienced Hannes Grobler and Dave McGregor were cruising along merrily, with the ever-exuberant Grobler in good spirits.
Nee, ons sukkel so 'n bietjie om vir Serge daar voor te vang, maar dit gaan goed. Ons is voor in 'n groep N, ons het nou baie goeie sneltrek gehad en maar die kompetisie is baie sterk. Die manne in die groep N karre roer dit. So ons moet ook redelik roer om voor te bly. Maar ek is bly want dit laat die groep N karre net baie beter lyk en vir groep N is baie goed.
Also going along steadily and running second in Class A7 were Port Elizabeth traffic cop Keith Coleman and Uwe Koch in a VW Golf. Behind them, Italians Cliff Blackman and Johan Klaassen were desperately trying to stay in touch with Grobler and McGregor, with the Team Total Nissan Sentra pair defending a slender 1-point lead in the Group N Championship. While this battle unfolded, there were problems in Special Stage 4 for Jean-Pierre Damso and Pierre Aris.
JP, problems on Stage 4?
Yes, yeah, we're obviously trying too hard, and there by the vineyards we got stuck in the sand, and luckily there's some spectators there, but we've lost like 4 minutes. To catch 4 minutes is impossible.
Rallying has never been described as the sport of kings, but back in Cape Town, the Milnerton Turf Club came alive to a different kind of horsepower. A huge crowd turned out for a super special stage that provided for plenty of action. Super special stages see 2 cars out at the same time on mirror image courses, with rally enthusiasts getting close-up views of some spectacular motoring. Between them, Serge Damso and Cyril van der Merwe have won 17 South African Rally Drivers' Championships, and it's not often that you get to see the pair of them in head-to-head competition. Super special and spectator-oriented stages in built-up metropolitan areas are all part of a drive to expose rallying to as wide an audience as possible. The stages are not always popular with competitors, but they attract the crowds and have an important marketing role to play in rallying. The Milnerton Super Special also produced a battle between the old and the new in South African rallying. Veteran Skalkberger and Tulo van Fustenhagen in the Godrich Toyota Conquest found themselves up against Kali van der Merwe and André Vermeulen in an aging Nissan Skyline. In days gone by, the rear-wheel drive Nissan Skylines were among the most spectacular rally cars around, but have been superseded by today's front-wheel drive cars. Stars like Jannie Habach and Hannes Grobler first made names for themselves by hanging out the tails of Skylines, and there's always room for a little nostalgia in the sport. The final special stage of the day was back at the waterfront. Etienne Lawrence and Robert Paisley in the Team Total Toyota Conquest slipping 44 seconds behind leaders Jan Habach and Douglas Judd in the VW Golf, but they were happy to be alive in the event after recent misfortunes. Chart van der Walt and Cindy Harding had taken control of Class A7 in the 711 VW Golf and were running 7th overall. Jürgen Fecken and Dave Lukowitz had moved ahead of Van der Walt and Harding, and after problems for Jean-Pierre Damso and Pierre Aris, were at the top of the Class A6 leaderboard in the Donaire Toyota Conquest. Hannes Grobler and Dave McGregor led the Group N category in the Vodacom Bridgestone Nissan Sentra, with the pair up into 9th place overall, but only 20 seconds ahead of Cliff Blackman and Johan Klaassen. The end of the day meant a late flurry of work for service crews, with Cyril van der Merwe one of those running into problems.
Cyril, a problem on the last stage of the day?
Well, we broke a side shaft now, but we've been having terrible traction problems all day long, so it was to be expected. We're wheel spinning everywhere. and it means there's still a lot of work to be done on the front suspension, but so far so good.
An overnight lead of 31 seconds for Habak and Judd, with just 1 second separating the Damso Bonafide and Fanameva Buerta combinations. There were some tight battles developing, with Hrobler and McGregor the lone Group N entry in the top 10. For leaders Habak and Judd, the Agip Rally was going according to plan.
Danny, a good day for you and Douglas.
Yeah, we've achieved what we set out to do, but the car's taking a bit of punishment. I think maybe our pace is a little bit too hard on the car, because there are lots of drains and ruts in the stages, and the shock absorbers are taking some real hard work, and we're having a look at them at the moment. But I think so far things are going well, and hopefully we can keep the pace tomorrow.